like in Europe, everybody's got this thing that you've got the National Health Service, in England, and it's free. It's not free.
Well, I know there's tax.
It's not free. It's not free.
And nothing's free.
But but even it gives you the basic. It doesn't give you. Now then you can take out PPP, which is like an upgrade to that. And I was trying to explain to somebody the other day, and we was talking about this, that if it's the basic that you have when you go to the NHS, if I have a surgery or if I have any procedure at all and I have a stay in hospital, then I'm in a ward of 14 people. Now, I've got to tell you, I'd rather be in a ward of 14 people, all right, because you're having a damn sight better laugh and a better laugh with the nurses than what you are if you've got your own private room. But if you've got PPP, and that's the part that I think is, I really think for the taxes even that Jack pays, I think we should be able to get a basic health service. I really do.
Well, we'll have to agree to disagree on that one. I think you got basic health care right now.
No, you haven't.
You can go. You do. You can go to the hospital as long as they're not going to deny you. The hospitals are going to make sure that you're whole and you're good to go. Now you're going to get a bill.
There's people going bankrupt.
Well,
because of healthcare.
If they choose to do it, well, I'm talking. If you're talking about just a regular.
So if you've
citizen,
got an emergency situation and you go to hospital,
I have health insurance that I pay for.
How much you pay a month?
Probably close to $1,000 a month for the family.
And how old are your kids?
18 and 21.
Then when they're 25, they've got to get their own health care, correct?
Yes, which they should.
So if they're not making the income that they should be, then it's a problem.
Yeah, but at 25, they're probably not going to the doctor for anything. They'll spend their money on something else.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Whatever works. Whatever works. I don't know, the healthcare thing, man, I know we've talked about it. It's just kind of one of those things where
it's important because then I think people are more.
It is because
then I think people are more productive.
It's important.
It's a bit like insurance. It's a bit like insurance. A bit like home insurance. It's expensive until you need it.
But again, that's my point.
But then when you
use it, you use healthcare. That's why it's important to you. You can go and use it. Ask the regular 25, 30-year-old person, my brothers, they don't go to the doctor. They couldn't care less.
I was watching something the other day where there was a 11-year-old girl that had a tumor. Family had $135,000 bill.
It must not have had insurance. That's unfortunate.
And then it bankrupted the family. That's the part that's so anyway. So we'll agree to disagree on that. So tell us about the infrastructure package, James. What's your opinion on that?
Honestly,
you were talking about them terrible roads out there.
Well, here's the deal. I don't know if it's going to be broken down. Here, make sure I pull this up.
Do you think
it's going to be broken down?
Do you think with the infrastructure package, do you think the infrastructure is just the physical roads, or do you think it is part of the internet and everything else that goes with that?
It's the roads, bridges, water systems. Everything that kind of goes.
That the internet systems is part of it? Like they're trying to do it?
Internet, housing, all of that. I think it kind of goes into it, but it's such a large package. As
much as I've got my feelings about China and everything else, but that, I think, is one of the strengths over Chinese system, because they're in a position where they can put more into their infrastructure. That's why I think they've got the fast trains, got all the other stuff that they've got.
Well, you got a completely different government over there.
Yeah, they're sort of telling you what to do, just like the security thing. They've got cameras and everything on it. You do that over here, and you're going to get a 9mm shooting it up. But
I bet you can't turn your back on their system over there.
So
they're republic too.
Oh no! But Yeah, but that's not a republic I want to be part of. But the truth of the matter is, I really think, the infrastructure thing, there are some politicians that are saying, well, the internet isn't part of the infrastructure. I think it should be part of the modern infrastructure. Because there's in some areas there's no internet. And as we go more to a virtual system where you're ordering your groceries from Amazon or whatever, or Walmart online or whatever you do, then I think it should be part of it.
Well, you don't have access to the internet in rural areas,
right?
Like a fiber optic high speed kind of set, but you might have a satellite. Because I'm sure they got TV.
When I go to our office down in Lake Jackson, the phone service is very, very poor. Even the internet in the office, it just isn't the same quality as what it is. You're limited to how many providers there are down there providing your internet service. You come to Houston, you've got multiple people that you can go to for internet service, which makes it, more competitive on the pricing. But down in, Lake Jackson, South Brazor area near the coast, you haven't got that choice. You've got one person that you can go to. So I think it's real important to build that infrastructure. And one of the things that I really do feel is in America, more than any country I've ever lived in, is all they want to do is kick that can down the road. I really think that infrastructure is important.
It is, but the key with it is, are we doing this by collecting more money from people, or are we going to be using the funds that are already being collected that we're paying to do all of this stuff that he's talking about? Because it sounds great. Will it be done in his lifetime? No.
But I think part of the problem over here is when they collect the money, and this is really what does happen more in the UK, there's more monitoring. The money's monitored better in the UK than what it seems to be over here. It's like, there's more help for people, but, there's more help for people in the UK on the social, even on the social security level. It seems to be monitored more. It's managed more, a bit more of it as a business. Yeah, of course, there's always people that are trying to, cheat the system. But, but it just seems that it's monitored more. Over here, for some reason, at times, it doesn't seem as monitored.
Right.
I don't know if that's propaganda. I don't know if that's, and that's what I think needs to happen over here. But I do think that some of the billionaires and some of the big companies need to pay their fair share of tax. And this thing about, the wealth trickles down. It doesn't trickle down at all. Even as a company at the moment, if I can be in a position where I'm making more money, doesn't mean to say I'm going to pay more, pay my staff more. I've got to admit I'd like to, so perhaps I would, but the truth of the matter is I don't think with some of these corporations it does, because the shareholders, I'm in a position where I haven't got shareholders. But I do think that, our roads are terrible. In Houston, and I think Houston's a great city, don't get me wrong. I've lived all over the world, and I like Houston because it's very diverse. You want Mexican, you can go get Mexican. And it's on Indian, you can go to some good Indian restaurants, such like. But the truth of the matter is, I really feel we're in desperate need. What was that bridge that collapsed some time ago? Minnesota or something?
Oh, I don't remember.
Some years ago, a bridge collapsed.
Yeah, I thought it was might be somewhere in Florida. Yeah.
And our heat is more over here, which makes it even worse.
This is a nice, pretty Christmas list of things that he wants.
And the thing that I find funny is you've got buildings in Europe that are hundreds of years old.
Well, that's because the construction was better back then.
More ironic, to say that. But I know you're right. And then you've got bridges that are 100 years old. You know, it's been years since I've seen any bridges collapsing anywhere in Europe.
Yeah, that's everything. Cars you could drop.
So why is that then?
Back in the
is
day.
It a case of they're cutting corners over here?
Not corn. The materials are less. They're less durable. The money is not in making something last forever anymore. It's in me selling it to you again. So I'm going to make it out of these materials, so you can buy it again down the line.
So if that's the case, why haven't any bridges collapsed in Europe?
They're already there, Steve. Were they going to knock them down?
No, but I mean, there's new bridges that are being built. But I don't see any collapses. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I've never been able to understand it. Don't worry, I love America. I mean, I know people are going to say, "Oh, well, if you like it that much, go back. If you like it that much, go back." But it's not about that. I'm just, as a comparison, to sort of ask yourself, what's the issue over here with you know, the infrastructure, bridges? Why have we got that problem? I mean, I'd like to know somebody's comments on the, you know, to see what people think and get what they really believe it is. But I just can't understand why America, being the great country that we are, you know, can't build a bridge and, you know, for it to stay up a little bit longer. And I know what you're saying about, you know, it's a disposable society, correct? Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, if we've got a disposable society, why haven't we got the money to build? Why haven't we got in that case, we need an infrastructure system more so to rebuild them bridges.
Yeah.
That's what I really don't, you know, get. You know.
Guess we'll see, man.
So I find it very frustrating. You know. So James, tell us what you think the market's going to do then with the bonds and the stocks and everything. You know, one of the things I mentioned earlier on was, you know, one time what would you do? You'd go into a bank and put money in your savings account. Well, it's now no longer worthwhile doing that. Now we're in a position where what do people do? They're investing in the stock market. You know, they're investing in real estate and such like. And you know, what do you think the future holds in relation to the stock market? Do you think it's going to burst? Then, you know, the bond market. I mean, that's when people don't do the stocks, they do the bonds. So what's your feeling on that?
Well, I think it's going to be a mix of the same old. The volatility continues. It's a day in, day out kind of run. As a matter of fact, today I was looking. Bond market opened down this morning, still down a couple of basis points.
Which means that the stocks are up?
Typically, stocks are going to be the opposite. So right now it's up 67 points at 34,569. It's 6 one way, half a dozen the other, man. It really just kind of, there's less risk in putting it in bonds versus stocks. So, but you get the hold on one second. You got the reward will match the risk, of course, if you go in long enough for the stocks with the likes of Robinhood's and what's the other there's another little app that you can actually kind of buy these stocks real quickly. You get in there and just buy these apps real fast. I mean, these stocks real fast, and you know you got a lot more people kind of dabbling in the market right now. So
if you add $30,000 of that, what would you put it in? Would you put it in stocks? Would you put it in crypto?
Chicken nuggets and cheeseburgers. 30,000, man. Honestly, I try to put it in. I wouldn't put it in either one of them. I wouldn't buy any stocks. I wouldn't put it in bonds. I'd probably try to put it in, honestly, crypto. If I had 30 grand, just put it there, and I didn't have to do anything with it. I just put it in.
Why
there.
would you do that? Do you think how fast do you think it's going to go up?
Well, I think that's the future of how it's going to take place. And honestly, if you're wise in doing it, you're not doing it based on how fast it's going to happen. You're doing it because you know it's going to happen. Period. That's really what it boils down to. Because it's the future. People want to be able to do what they want to do with their money, and not have to be regulated and tracked and traced and all this stuff. And it's eventually going to happen. You got a country on board already, El Salvador, doing it as a currency. Man, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
How are they using it as a currency?
It's just one of the choices. It's so if you got the regular dollar, yeah. What is it actually?
Let me ask you a question then. What is money?
What is money? Right. What is it? It's basically something that we put on. This could be money if we wanted it to be.
I was watching a video on YouTube, and that was the question: what is money? And I was asking people, what is money? And some of the answers completely off the mark. Traditionally, a bank would loan money, and then they'd have to equal the amount in gold.
Right. That gold junk is off the table
now. But that's off the table now. It was all deregulated.
Yeah.
And now you're in a position where, the banks, if they're loaning, I think it's $10,000, all they have to do is to come up with $100 and they can leverage their money. So, it's all sort of electronic money, really.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So if you was buying cryptocurrency, what crypto would you buy?
Oh, man. I probably just diversify it. What's that? Ethereum. That
Doggy coin.
You can get your Dogecoin if you want to get in there.
How about doggy coin?
The doggy coin. Yeah. Bitcoin, I think it was 35, 36,000 or so. So I couldn't get quite a full one, but that's enough to put in there, though. That is definitely enough to put in there.
He went down to 30,000 recently.
Yeah.
And then what was it?
But at one time it was close to 60.
60.
It was close to 60 at one time. So yeah, that's crazy. That's doubling your money, man. I mean, shoot, I'll do that. I would do that. And
what type of stocks would you buy?
I wouldn't buy any stocks.
Wouldn't buy stocks?
Not if I just had 30 grand just to blow. If I just had, I'll just put it in there. Because I didn't get in to the crypto earlier. I have some now. But so if I just had it to blow and it was just no big deal, that's where I put it. Just leave it.
And we've always been in a position, with pulling out of Afghanistan. I know you mentioned that sort of earlier on. You mentioned Afghanistan. If we was pulling out of, because we're pulling out of Afghanistan and we seem to be pulling back a lot of these war situations, for whatever reason it is, how do you think that's going to affect the market? Because we all know that war,
if we're pulling
war makes dollars.
War makes money for sure. I don't know. I think there might be some skirmishes that take place to kind of keep us in the game when it comes to that, because it does. When you're in war, it generates income. And I know that sounds weird, but it brings unemployment down. The food and supplies, those things are being bought, so it helps with the economy. It does.
Pretty ironic, really.
It is, if you think about it. It is. It's kind of a weird thing, but it's when war money, when it's spent.
I've always asked myself, why is it that probably the US has been involved in war more than it's always been involved in one war somewhere or other.
Well, not as of late, because these little side things, I wouldn't call them quite wars. We've had some deals, but it's money, man. It creates a demand for weapons, food, transportation, all of that stuff. So I think there will always be an element of that around.
And it's developed technology, in all fairness, a lot of the time. Sort of been interesting. It's affected. America's always seems to be involved in type of war, which is, or it's always involved in some sort of skirmish or whatever. I mean, I think it's totally wrong what's going on. In some of these areas you read about, some of these, was it the Russian? There was one the other day, the Russian, flying mock attacks over some of the European. I mean, it's worrying where all over the world these are happening. Then, Russia's flying over into American airspace. It's pretty worrying, really, on how the world's moving forward. But apart from that, we'll see where it takes us.
That's all we can do, man. Just hang on for the ride.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
And Jack's off to Vegas tomorrow, so one of his buddies has got to.
Don't party too hardy.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey, there
put
you go.
Put $100 on one of them roulette tables for me.
Don't bring us back any grandchildren.
Your grandfather will be proud of you.
Put it on green shirt.
There you go.
So we'll sort of see what happens. What you got going on this week, James?
Man, I'm what's today? Thursday. I am.
You're set
once
for
I
the
leave
4th?
here, I'm going to HEB to pick up my wood and probably a couple cans of beans. I got my meat and everything together.
Beans.
And I'm going to be sacrificing some meat, as they say, this weekend to celebrate. Just to celebrate
July the 4th.
Yeah, and then my
I think
birthday.
it's pretty cool that we've got an extra day.
And my birthday's on Tuesday, so
Oh, it is?
I might take an extra day. Never know.
That's good. We'll be calling you up and pestering you.
Yeah, all good.
And how old are you next week?
24.
There you go. You should have said 21. I thought 21 was the magic age.
Hey, man,
I've been 21 for the last 30 years.
Oh, yeah. That's the way to be.
But no, I'm looking forward to the 4th.
I am too, man. I really am.
I've got a pretty busy weekend. We've got some different meetings that we got to do and HOA work that we're overseeing this building project that we've got. So I've got to go and inspect some of it.
Oh, okay.
But I going back, it's difficult to sort of do the whole Miami collapse. Such a difficult situation.
It is. We'll continue to pray for those people.
Absolutely. But anyway, guys, we look forward to seeing you next week, I guess.
Absolutely. If you need us, our contact information is down in the description below. So reach out to us, and we look forward to talking to you at the table next week.
Absolutely. Have a good week, guys, and have a good 4th.